Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 Sandbox MMORPG games for 2016. These are games that are going to be released, hopefully, potentially, this year, or have already released this year, specifically. Anyways, they're also going to be rated based on their sandbox elements, not just their overall quality as an MMO or as a game, but their sandbox. How free it is, how much effect does the player have, etc. So with that in mind, we ranked them, and now you get to watch. And starting off the list, let's talk about Crowfall. This is actually a really cool game. It's got voxel destruction, potentially like a lot of creativity with building up your bases and guild halls and stuff like that. And of course, you have the economy play and the farming, and you do have a lot of PvP orientation, and it seems like physically like a really fun mechanical game because it's very PvP oriented. However, the game is a little bit vague on its sandboxiness because how big are the sandboxes? How much freedom do you have? And the truth is that Crowfall is using a campaign system instead of a big open like flawless world. It's actually like funneling the gameplay through different campaigns. There are different instances, there are different like little campaigns that funnel players together. So how large and to what extent the sandbox exists, we don't know, but the game does look good and it does have sandbox elements, so for that, it at least makes it on the list. And coming in at number 9 is a game you guys already know, probably already love, and that's Ark Survival Evolved. This is a game with freaking dinosaurs. Yeah, think DayZ with dinosaurs. That's pretty much it, guys. You survive in an island with lots of freaking dinosaurs and other creatures and other players, of course. A lot of PvP, or if you want to go to a PvE server and co-op, you can do that too. I mean, you can do so much in this game with mods or not, and it's just a lot of fun. It can be a little bit fantastic, maybe a little bit ridiculous, but I think that's why we like it anyways. But to justify it on this list, is it even an MMO? Is definitely a question that a lot of people think of, but to me it is because it's persistent and it's got a lot of people that play on it. Not as many as a lot of these other games, but as a sandbox game, it's one of the best, if not the best sandbox game. But as an MMO, its player count definitely is why it's so low on the list, but still an absolutely great game and a great addition to this list. Now, I'm gonna be honest, we actually had a different game on this list for this spot, but that game actually just got canceled despite it looking really, really good. So we're gonna go throw in No Man's Sky. Now, how much of an MMO this game is, or what's there to actually do in this sandbox, still all up kind of for debate, but overall, I guess we know the hype, we know this game looks really, really good. It seems like, as many worlds as there are, they might be a little bit empty. That's probably the only contention here, but otherwise, it's a gorgeous game. That's probably going to be fun. It's probably going to be good at least, but is it going to be great? Debatable. So, well, here it is on the list. Another RPG-focused sandbox MMO is going to be a game named Chronicles of Elyria. In this game, your character can actually age and die. There are finite resources, a closed economy, and non-repeatable quests. And also, this is kind of a big feature, fully destructible environments. I mean, the game even goes as far as allowing players to join player-run families to develop dynasties. You can even potentially become a king. Now, the game supposedly will allow you to make a number of choices. If you want to go from very positive, lawful good, maybe chaotic evil. Seems like the game allows a number of not just mechanical choices, but sort of lifestyle choices, which is very interesting. It's kind of what a lot of people want in a sandbox MMORPG, the ability to truly roleplay. Worlds Adrift is a persistent sandbox. Every tree that falls and every item that's crafted will exist and remain where it is pretty much forever. This sandbox is comprised of lots and lots, potentially infinite amounts of floating islands, which thousands of players in a shared world can go and explore. And you explore with physics-based flying and gameplay. Craft and create ships of all sorts of varying sizes. But because the game is physics-based, how you actually build your ship is very important. Your choice of design will have a direct consequence on how the ship performs in its speed, combat, and fuel range. And so for having such a unique sandbox to play in, Worlds Adrift made it at number 6. Halfway on the list, we have a game that looks really good, be it down to earth, and that's Escape from Tarkov. And this is going to be a hardcore, realistic online first-person action RPG / simulator / maybe sandbox game with MMO features and a story-driven walkthrough. It's kind of a mouthful, and it seems like they're focusing on a whole lot of different aspects, which is why it's not higher on the list. As good-looking as it is, there is a story-driven walkthrough / campaign. We don't know how much weight is added to that, as well as what other game modes. Is the game mainly focused on instance PvP? Or is it supposed to be like a survival game mainly? We don't know. Other games in the genre that have a similar aesthetic have gone through similar troubles, so hopefully this one, which looks the best, also performs the best and fulfills our sandbox desires. Next up on the list, we have a game called Gloria Victis, which is going to be a low fantasy medieval sandbox PvP game. Low fantasy as in there's not like magic and dragons and stuff like that, but it's very, very intricate in the sense that it's got physics and skill-based PvP. When you shoot arrows, it's it's actually like a first-person shooter, maybe like Chivalry, maybe not quite to that degree, but very, very good. Other games in the genre like Mortal Online, Darkfall Online, those games really fell short, and there's some other games coming out, but I honestly believe Gloria Victis is the one, especially considering that it's going to be free to play. I believe it is the medieval sandbox trump card for those who are interested in the genre at all. Gloria Victis is my #1 pick for that, and that's why, even though its aesthetic is so tame, so down to earth, every day it's looking more and more polished with those features that we sandbox players really want. And so for that reason, it's #4. At #3, we have a really cartoon and kind of childish looking MMORPG in the sandbox genre called Albion Online. It can be played on mobile devices, on Android or iOS, or on your PC, and it's all cross-platform goodness. In Albion Online, you can actually own your own player housing, your own player islands, your guild islands, or conquest the actual literal physical plane of the MMO space, build up entire kingdoms. There are no defined classes. You make your own classes based on the armor and equipment that you wear, and this gives a little bit more weight to buying and selling on the marketplace and the economy, especially because it is localized. Different materials exist in different tiers and in different areas, so exploring is really important in this game and also kind of dangerous. But what I like about Albion Online is that you can entirely play the game from like the level 1 area and just kind of work the economy from there. If you want to go and conquest, go and conquest. If you like PvP and kind of sporty, competitive PvP, actually conquesting requires 5v5 fair matches. No zerking at 1 a.m. anymore. But yeah, if you like ganking and open world PvP, there is that too. And honestly, I could probably just go on and on about what you can potentially do in Albion Online. I think any archetype of player will really fit in this game, and it's also really fitting the fact that you can play on any device, anywhere, anytime. So for its ease of access, I'm gonna have to rank this as #3 and a great gateway drug to sandbox gaming. And our #2 game is Black Desert, an already provenly great MMORPG sandbox game. However, it is lacking in some MMO aspects, in some RPG aspects, and yes, honestly, in some sandbox aspects. But the blending of all those genres all together, Black Desert, it's gotta be the best. Absolutely, there are other games in the genre, but Black Desert just feels the best. Its MMO elements are incredibly social. Its RPG elements are actually pretty immersive. And playing in this sandbox actually feels visceral, physical, sometimes brutal. It feels good. But even with its shortcomings, it is a proven MMORPG that has dared to do new things and can really only get better from here. Now, our #1 pick for this top 10 list for Sandbox MMORPG, it's gotta go to Star Citizen. And I know a lot of you guys probably saw that coming. It was gonna be #1, it was gonna be #2, it was gonna be something, it was gonna be up there. Yes, it's up here at Star Citizen #1. When your sandbox is like literally infinite, right? When it's outer space and it looks this good and you can do as much as you can in Star Citizen, it's like, how can you beat that? How can anything be better than that? Sadly, there are some games that have similar ideas but haven't quite looked as good, are performed as well, and Star Citizen, with all of its support, with all of its love, is actually looking like it will live up to its expectations. We don't know that for sure, but it is absolutely the best looking, with the most potential sandbox MMORPG that we have seen, that some of us has barely played depending on the module. Maybe, a little bit of flying here, a little bit of just kind of staring at graphics there. We'll admit it, guys, we don't know what the finished product is going to be like, but the truth is, even at the worst expected potential possibility, it's still going to be a freaking great game. And a lot of people are going to play it, and a lot of people are going to love it. So from there, I just don't think you can derail the hype train. And that covers our top 10 list for the Sandbox MMORPGs coming out this year, but if you have any that you would like to add or take away from the list, go ahead, leave it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. We got a lot of top 10s, first impressions, and other gaming goodness coming soon, so like and subscribe for that. So please come back, Attack, and we'll see you next time. Welcome back, Attack, and today we're going to be talking about 2016's best MMORPGs. These are going to be the new MMO games that we get to experience, at least in the West. Yes, some of these games are going to be localized titles, but for the most part, these are going to be entirely new MMOs, so get hyped for that, and these are going to be the games that we are almost certain will actually launch in 2016.